Alrighty, good evening everybody. Doing a review at the request of a buddy of mine, looking at a Vampire Magdk dragonknight build for PvE specifically. Nowhere near meta, but hey, it's fun, it's a vampire if you're into that thing. Again, I am a werewolf guy myself, but hey, I can't complain. Definitely off meta, definitely useful, it has its moments, but running a vampire in any content is going to be iffy with the effect of flame damage it has on you. But if you want to play it, go you. Let's review the build. So we are running front bar daggers, back bar inferno staff. This build only works with an inferno staff. You can't really run a two-hander back bar with the skills that you need on the back bar, but so here we have our Daggers of Rune Carvers, excellent dragonknight set. Front bar is Nirnhone with flame damage. Back offhand is charged with poison damage, pretty standard setup for a non-coral build. And the back bar we have the Maelstrom's Perfected Inferno Staff infused with weapon damage, of course, pretty standard here. Here we have the One Piece Slime Crawl Light for that crit chance, Divines with Magdk, of course. And our other set is Reliquins, which is medium Divines with Magdk for the majority of the armor pieces. I'm on the PTS doing this, so I'm running Perfected. Perfected is not necessarily a need, but hey, if you got it, go for it. Otherwise, it's only a small DPS loss, very small. So chest, shoulders, waist, arms, and feet are all Reliquins, all Divines, all with Magdk. And to get our crit damage up, or excuse me, our crit chance up, and crit damage, excuse me, here we have the Harpooner's Kilt, Divines with Magdk. It is our mythic for this build. And of course, jewels, we have Rune Carvers, all bloodthirsty, all with the spell harm enchant. It will show up as multi-effect. You absolutely need this for this build, and I would recommend for most DK builds you're going to need a lot of mag recovery, unless you're a stam DK, but that's not the case here. Honestly, it doesn't really matter if you can handle it running the physical harm. You're not gaining or losing anything except for the recoveries, so I guess it's really up to you, but I found Magdk was a need. All attributes in Magdk, of course. I am running Ghastly Eyeball for the food. You absolutely need this. You can't run Max Mag. You need the extra recovery, or else you're going to be hurting. Obviously, we are a vampire. I am keeping it at stage 1. I would not recommend anything above it, just because of the increased ability cost and the increased flame damage. The flame damage is situational, but the regular ability cost is not. You can get away with the health recovery in PvE because you're running 2 healers, but only keep it at stage 1. And of course, the Mundus, the Thief. The skills, I'm going to show you the parse specific skills here, and I'll explain what to do if you want to take it into content. Front bar Engulfing Flames, excellent dot, excellent debuff to enemies against flame damage. Gotta love it. Degeneration, good for that Mage's Guild passive with Max Mag. Excellent dot, also this will be your source of brutality and sorcery. Venomous Claw, one heck of a dot. Increases over time, it is a must. This is your spammable here, the Arthurial Burst. Excellent single hit damage here for about 10k, about 11k once you start hitting the dummy. It does more damage upon missing health, and if you're under 50%, it'll always be a crit. And we are going to take advantage of that in this specific build. Barb Trap, excellent dot, your main source of minor force. Always want to cast this with about 2 seconds left, as it has about a 1.5 second casting time. Flawless Dawnbreaker on the front bar for ultimate for the Fighters Guild passive only. No need to hit this unless you're ready to execute and you just want to get your weapon and spell damage up just a smidgen. Eruption, excellent dot, excellent flame damage, excellent for trash, excellent for bosses. I use this on all my DK builds. Flames of Oblivion, one heck of a passive enemy. It's a direct attack. It's also our source of major prophecy and savagery. Scalding Rune, again for that Mage's Guild passive. Also one heck of a dot. Again, giving out that flame damage. Recommend casting it at about 2 seconds left, as it takes 2 seconds to arm. Blockade of Fire. This is different than what you might have seen maybe about 5 patches ago. They changed the morphs of Wall of Elements. If you use Unstable Wall, it doesn't last as long and has that eruption at the end, which does deal more damage, but comparatively, if you've tested it, and most people have, the Blockade of Fire, the one that tanks and healers normally use, lasts longer, and it actually deals the same amount of damage per second. So the trade-off here is it's lasting longer, your Maelstrom Inferno Staff effect is lasting longer, and you're getting a little bit more damage out. Even though you don't have that eruption at the end, it is a damage increase. Simmering Frenzy, Vampire skill. This is going to be our source of loss of health, mainly. The additional weapon and spell damage is nice. It stacks up when I'm doing some pretty rough math, I think that's about 300 weapon and spell damage if you have 5 stacks. So it's pretty good for that aspect. But honestly, during a parse session, you're not gonna be able to keep this up. And I'll explain when we're parsing. And of course, the Standard of Might, the standard as it was, for DKs, your main ultimate. I would say if you are sweaty enough, try to do this when your Simmering Frenzy is at 5 stacks. I did this a couple times. I can't do it. I can't time it well enough. But hey, if you can do it and do it better than me, good on you. In terms of CP, Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, keep messing that one up, and Wrathful Strikes. The red tree, especially for this build, you need rejuvenation, the extra recoveries, anything helps with a DK, because DK is very resource heavy. Okay, let's see, one last thing here, the potions. I've been using the traditional spell power potion here. I've done it a couple of times pretty successfully with this one. This build is my first time. I'm going to try using this, the Replenish Magdk and Heroism for Ultimate. This is really good on a DK in general, just because it takes so long to get a Standard of Might up. You only really cast it maybe 3 times if you're lucky. I'm going to use this. I'm going to see if I can cast Standard of Might a little longer, get a little bit more resources back with the DK passive, and we'll see what we can do. So with any DK parse, we're going to go ahead and get our Seething... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not running Molten Whip anymore. I tried running Molten Whip. Let me cover that real quick. In content, you're not going to be able to run Simmering Frenzy. The reduction of health, your healers are going to go nuts. The raid lead is going to go nuts. Please don't run this in content. I am not recommending it whatsoever as a personal raid lead myself. This is just no bueno here. Please don't do it. If you're running in content, what I do recommend is swap it out for Molten Whip. You're not going to actually use Molten Whip, but you're going to use it for the Seething Fury. Anytime you cast your Ardent Flame skills, be it the Venomous Claw, Engulfing, or Flames of Oblivion, you're going to get a stack of Seething Fury that will increase your weapon and spell damage. Highly effective, even on a quote-unquote meta DK. This is what you do anyway. So if you run in content, swap this out with Seething, or Simmering Frenzy. It will be a DPS loss. I did test it. It's going to be about a 5k loss. It's actually less than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be about 10k. But otherwise, for parsing, you can use Simmering Frenzy. Okay, so we have our potions ready. We're going to get going here. I'm going to go ahead and click Simmering Frenzy first. Then Flames. I'm going to go ahead and cast the rune, Trap, Wall, Eruption, Erupting, Degeneration, Claw, and we're in business. We have full stack, so I'm going to go ahead and use my ultimate. So what's going to happen here is you're obviously going to keep up your dots as you need to, trying to keep up Barb Trap and Scalding Rune when you need. But you're going to notice, by the time your health is gone, your Simmering Frenzy is going to deactivate. You're going to slowly start to regain health. This is actually not a bad thing, because while you're under 50% health here, which is a good long time, you're going to start getting crit damages off of your arterial burst. So when you hit about 50% health, then you're going to cast Simmering Frenzy again, just to keep your health under 50%. You'll gain a couple of stacks, but they'll go away soon enough. Like I said, with this method, you're not going to really see your 5 stacks soon enough. Actually, I just got it. And that's what the power of minor heroism pots can do for you, so that was pretty lucky. And there go the stacks. Otherwise, you're in a pretty standard rotation. Not surprisingly, your majority of your damage is coming from arterial burst. Excuse me, I think I've been saying that wrong. But this build has some pretty solid damage. I think the highest I've gotten on this was about 106. Pretty good for a vampire, everything considered. This is no way, no how a meta build, especially set-wise. Excuse me, skill-wise. Set-wise, it's pretty standard. You want to make sure you keep up your degeneration, so you keep that brutality and sorcery up 100% of the time. Because if you use the ultimate potions, you're going to realize that you're not going to be able to. What am I trying to say? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Parson does that to you. Especially with this build. A lot of concentration has to go in here. You always gotta make sure you're looking at something. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Let's see what we got. 109, so that is much, much better than my other one. The only thing I changed were those minor heroism potions. Just a very quick review. This build does hit the cap for critical damage here at 127%, so make sure those armor pieces are correct. As you can see, majority of your damage is from arterial burst. It's a pretty fun build, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it. My weaving is trash, but hey, what are you gonna do? Still a pretty good outcome for it. As always, let me know if you have questions. Let me know if you have requests. I do not mind running down and doing more videos for y'all. Thanks. See you next time.